healthy and begin his the next journey of his career in Toronto.
$120 million a year. That's like $10 million a game for Brandon Ingram.
Did I say $120 million a year?
Well, our $120 million for 3 years.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
No. Yeah, but I'm saying that's like $10 million a game.
So
right. You get about 12 games out of him over 3 years.
There's no question. Look, the guy's uber talented. Toronto desperately needs that kind of offensive firepower. And so I don't know how Toronto people feel. Anybody that's a Raptors fan that's chiming in right now, I want to hear what you have to say in the chat.
Yeah.
What do you think about this acquisition and signing?
Yeah, we got some guys. There's some players on the squad that I do like. I actually really like Scotty Barnes. I just find him a fascinating player. Man, Embiid. Oh no. Well, you got to be kidding me, legs.
Wow, what's he grabbing? Elbow?
His elbow, because it was kind of an awkward thing. If you saw, I thought it was a great defensive play watching it live.
Yeah, I gotta get. This is the first time we're doing this. I got to make sure I don't take my eyes off the screen. I was looking at you for a second.
Oh, geez, yeah, don't look at me.
Oh wow,
look at this. Ready? Then lands on it. Oh, I'll be honest. I don't know if it's an injury, but it definitely looks painful.
Man, I mean, he really clamped down on that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to secure the ball, but that is a very awkward landing.
Look at that. Yeah. He's still on the court. Did they call a foul? Is this a foul? Or is it a jump ball? Oh, it's a jump ball. I didn't think it was a foul, man. I thought it was just a good play.
Yeah, no, they're jumping it up. I mean, that would just be added to the list for Embiid if he had just gone to the locker room right there. Yeah. I mean, it's like he's like literally like the game operation at this point. Like just laying there, you're trying to take parts out.
Yeah.
He's had every single part of his body's been injured at some point in his career. And that was another weird one right there. I'll tell you, the Sixers, man, I watched that game, the Hubie Brown game on Sunday.
Yeah. His elbow's good, by the way. Real quick, I don't know if you saw it. Elbow looks fine. It's healed.
Well, wait a second. It was his left elbow he hurt. His right elbow is not affected.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And that was a really, really lackluster, listless performance on Sunday against the Bucks, man. They did not offer a lot of resistance.
Yeah. Man, with this, I see the comment in the chat here from Chick Vlog, or I think that's what it is. Scotty Barnes, the next Aaron Gordon. What's interesting is they asked Aaron Gordon who the next Aaron Gordon was, and he said Scotty Barnes. And I kind of like that because to me, it's a guy who is like a really good all-around player, can do a bunch of stuff, but is miscast as the lead guy. Like he's not good enough at any one thing to be the guy you play through. But if you could get him in a role where he's the third guy, he would be elite at it. And I think that's accurate for Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, I really like Scotty Barnes too. His all-around game, but it's to your point. I was
nice pass. Oh, he's
thinking
late.
to myself, like, what is he?
Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, I got a question too for James. Somebody like, can I move my box with my face in it because I can't see the score?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Just so if you actually, that's nice. Everybody can do this. If you just click and hover over it and drag it to the left, or drag it wherever you want, then you can curate it. So if you see, you hover over your boxes, hold down, and just drag it, and it'll go wherever you want. And you can shrink it. You can make it bigger. And just so people know, if you're new to playback, it's a really cool, this platform they have where you can watch the games alongside. And then even that little audio box, if you hover over next to the remote in the bottom left corner, there's a little speaker, and that'll give you the option to pull the stage up, which is me and Legs, or you could pull the stream up if you want to hear what they're saying on the broadcast. You can kind of adjust it. So there's a lot of cool features you can do to kind of make this work for you. But we just flipped it over now, watching this Knicks-Pacers game, which is the marquee game tonight. And these are two of your favorite teams, I know. It's two of my favorite teams as well, but two of your favorite teams to watch in the league. Yeah,
no doubt. And Indiana, I've been high on them for the last 2 years. I really don't ever kind of let go of that, even with the start they had beginning of the year. I knew they were going to go on a run, and they did. They ended up getting all the way up to 4 in the East. Unfortunately, I had that game Saturday when we were expecting Luka to play. He didn't. The Pacers came into that best record in the NBA since January 1, 19-6 in their last 25 games. The Lakers don't have anybody. They sit LeBron, they sit Luka, and Austin Reeves goes for 45 points, and they dominate the Pacers. I was like shocked. It's probably the worst game the Pacers have played in 2 months.
Yeah.
But that doesn't detract from how how tough I think they can be to guard. The Knicks are in a good spot, I think, because they're kind of hovering beneath all of the attention that Boston and Cleveland get. And I think that's a good place to be, man. You don't necessarily have to be the one that's chased and hunted. You could kind of lurk and just get your act together and get healthy at the right time and go into the playoffs. And the Knicks are going to be able to go toe-to-toe with both of those teams, I believe.
Yeah. You see this in the chat. Picket Propaganda says, you have gotten so unlucky for games, Lex. It's kind of true. You've had a couple games.
Got that right. Man, so yeah, I mean, I could go down the list. I get Wemby this year, my only Wemby game. He goes 1 for 5 in the game. Doesn't attempt a shot in the second half of the game. Okay, so I got that. I get games. Well, you know what? I will say this. All of us in the industry deal with the same thing of getting games that on the paper look great. You're excited about them when the schedule comes out, and invariably there's really important guys not playing. I mean, that's just all of us kind of going through that. So when you get that rare night when most of those guys, you can handle one guy maybe, but when it's like 2 or 3, it really changes the product. So, I got a same situation tomorrow night with the Mavericks and what they're going to look like. But Golden State, they have to win every game right now. Like that's the mindset they're in. So they should be showing up and playing. Jimmy Butler early returns on that look pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that game was really, really interesting, man. That first one. I love, by the way, I'm pretty into Buzelis. I'm pretty interested in him. He's so skinny, so rail thin, but I'm kind of curious. He's a super athlete, obviously in the dunk contest. What do you like? How do you analyze him? What kind of player is he going to be?
Yeah, man, I'm high on him. I mean, his toughness, competitiveness, his bounce, his athletic ability. It's good. He's getting more run now that they've made some changes to their team. I think he's got a super upside, man, because he's got really good feel for the game and he's got the athletic ability at that position that is going to translate. Now, what it always comes down to for me is how much can you add to your handle? How much can you add to your consistency with deep shooting? That's really what ultimately decides who goes to the next level.
Yeah, man, look at Oscar Thompson just power through. I love the Thompson twins, but powering right through that move was impressive. It looked like a type you like power through and then finish with the layup, and he made that dunk so easy.
I'm proud of I'm gonna call him. We could say this show, people that watch this show regularly know we have our guys. We claim guys. I'm claiming the whole team. I'm claiming the Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons is.
I called that out October 6th in the season. I said this is the most improved team in the league, and I love watching them. Who would have thought you could go from what they were a year ago to me saying I love watching the Pistons.
Yeah, man, by the way, I always loved, you see that 1 minute, 20 seconds, first time out of the game. Like that happens sometimes. 6-0, coach is like, you know what? We're starting this game over. Everybody get back over here. That's tough.
Yeah, that would probably be me some nights if I was coaching the league.
What kind of coach do you think you would be in the NBA? Players coach, hard ass?
I think I would be very intense, man. And I think eject the right amount, the combination of when to be tough, but also definitely understand, communicate with guys to keep their confidence up and to make sure that you have a good relationship, a basis for your relationship because they trust you. They know you're not disingenuous. That's all players really want for the most part is just be honest and upfront. And most guys can handle the consequences in the rotation, not in the rotation, how big a part of the offense, my role. They can take a lot if you're just honest. And I think that would be me, but there's no question, man. I've got a massive amount of intensity raging through my body when I'm involved in something competitive.
I got to see it sometime, man. You're going to come out to Denver sometime soon. We're going to do a little 3-point competition. I got to make enough to draw it out of you just to get you a little fired up. I don't know if I can do it, but we'll try.
Well, people that saw me coaching all those years in the pretty high level AAU circuit, they know what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
I think AAU officiating took several years off my life. I'm going to pay the price down the road for the amount of anxiety and blood pressure situations in games because of officiating at that level.
By the way, that spin move right there to split the double team by TJ McConnell, absolutely filthy. I mean, kind of not the sauciest player, but that was a saucy move right there and a perfect
Rick
pass.
Carlisle, we interviewed Rick Carlisle before the game Saturday against the Lakers, and we were going over his whole roster. And his expression for TJ McConnell was he's one of one. And I thought that was a pretty good way to describe him, man, and his impact, the way he plays, and just how it's incredible how many times, what percentage of the time TJ McConnell comes into the game and affects the game really quickly in a positive way for the Pacers. It's unreal.
By the way, one of my guys is on the court right now, Ben Shepherd, who I absolutely love. I think I was a year ahead on him, but he's one of those guys. He's not like real talented, I don't think, but good defender, and he's just one of those guys that does everything right.
He does. He's important. He defends. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of shots. When he makes a couple, it's like a bonus. But they like his size and his IQ and his work ethic, and he can guard a lot of different guys. So he's important to the Pacers.
I'm flipping it back over here. We'll put it back on this Knicks game, but we have one of our first guest today. We're gonna have a couple different people hop on from the All City Network. And the first guy we're going to have on is my guy, Devon Givens, who covers the 76ers for our PHLY Sixers podcast and live show pre and post game. So if you're Sixers fans and never heard of it, check them out. They do great work there. He's been a radio guy for many years. He's doing the podcast with us. So we'll have him hop on here in a second. They're at halftime, but I want to talk a little 76ers with them and see what's going on. And here goes Mathurin. Oh man, how did he no foul or no nothing on that play? That was a little crazy. Somebody was saying we should live stream if we do this competition, man. For sure. Like Legs, because you're out here in March, I think, is when you're out here. We'll have to, I don't know if we'll live stream it, but I think we'll cut some kind of video. I was gonna have, Legs teach me shooting. People don't know this. I was an All-American collegiate basketball player too. Obviously nowhere close to Legs' level, but it's not like I don't know how to play the game, but I thought it'd be fun, but it'd be fun for us to get a little tutorial on, see if we can't shot doctor my.
I will actually, we do that. I will come out there and I will make sure I'll have a handful of Tim Legler basketball camp t-shirts. Yeah. And you're going to have to be treated like a camper. And that's the only way we can do it. You're going to have to be a camper.
Oh man, I'm not in shape for this, man. You're going to have me, different shooting drills around the court, man. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to run out of gas.
You can bring a backpack with a snack and a water cooler.
Yeah. Let's see here. I did the straw poll today. ESPN does their MVP straw poll, and I put Karl Anthony Towns in my top 5 MVPs. And some of this was just because I think it's like I got 4 guys I feel pretty easy, and then there's a 5th guy you almost rotate in. But the times I've watched the Knicks this year, which maybe 10 games or so, Karl Anthony Towns just impresses me every time. It's almost like he's taken the helm of the team to me. What do you think about that?
Who was your 5th? I'm assuming you had Shea, Jokic, and Giannis.
Shea, Jokic, Giannis, Tatum I put in there.
Tatum, okay.
Which I thought all those guys were probably in.
That's probably the right 4. And then I guess, Karl Anthony Towns. It's weird because there are teams that have had success, and it's really hard. I mean, clearly Jaren Jackson Jr. to me has been the best player for Memphis, but you wouldn't put him in that category. Nobody on Houston is in that category. I don't think we look at anybody from Cleveland in that category. So those are 3 of the best teams in the league. I mean, Houston's in a little bit of a slide right now, but these are 3 of the best teams in the league to this point, record-wise.
Yeah.
But there's not an identifiable player to pick off of those teams. That opens it up a little bit more for some other guys.
Yeah. Jaren Jackson Jr., I'll be honest, I did think about it for a second, and I came to the same conclusion. I'm like, that's not an MVP, but when you look at it in 2 seed, he's been their best player by far. I mean, I at least thought about it for a while.
He's a load, man. He is just a very difficult matchup. And I'll tell you another guy that should be climbing the charts. Now, I don't think he's going to win another one, but LeBron James is.
Oh, man.
Look at the way this guy's played, man. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He has been unbelievable. He has rarely had a bad night for the Lakers. They're all the way up to 4 in the West. If this pans out with Luka and they mesh quickly, I think it's going to take some time for Luka to like really consistently make perimeter shots, and he was 1 for 7, I think, from the 3 in his debut. That might slow them up a little bit. But they scored 132 against a really bad team, so you can't even go by that. But I mean, LeBron James has been unbelievable, man. You got to give the guy credit. He's 40 plus, and he's doing it every night, and he is expending a lot of energy defensively.
All right, we brought on our guy, Devon Givens, out at PHLY. He's watching his Sixers with a 2-point lead at halftime. Devon, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing tonight?
What's going on?
This is a pretty cool thing you got going on here. A little flashback to when Tim used to do this on ESPN, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Mark Stein, he told me he was on that show too from time to time too. So it's a little all-city reunion of sorts, I guess. Devon, what's going on with, we only caught, we just started this a couple minutes ago, so we didn't catch the first half, but catch us up to speed, man. I see Embiid has 17 points. He still has an elbow intact. What's going on?
Yeah, so it looked like right before the half, he got tangled up with one of the Raptors players going for a rebound, fell on his shoulder a little bit. He did make the next shot on the jump ball, but seems like that was something to monitor coming out of halftime. Once again, Sixers got off to a tough start, get down a little bit, had to fight back. Tyrese Maxey is actually scoreless at the half with only 2 shot attempts, and he's been on a roll with 18 consecutive games where he scored 25 or more points. So that is a little surprising, but some of the young guys getting a run, the newer players with Quentin Grimes, Jared Butler getting some run there, and that's when they really started to turn it up with that youth movement, if you will, coming off the bench with some speed, some athleticism, helping them out to get back into this game now, leading by 2 at the break.
I love Quentin Grimes, man. I mean, he was one of my guys. Obviously loved him there in Dallas. And, that's a trade to me that I kind of liked it both directions. But what have you thought of him so far out there?
And you saw it in game 1, Adam, right away, where you saw the outside shooting. You could see where he was trying to blow up some dribble handoffs, getting over the screen, fighting over that screen to stay in front of his man to cut some things off. A few things off the dribble movement where, as you both know, seeing Caleb Martin just struggle the way that he has. Not his fault, of course, dealing with whatever injury he was dealing with his shoulder, and his shooting not there like we have seen in the past with the Miami Heat. But coming in, just the infusion of youth, the athleticism once again, knocked down 1-3, had a nice drive to the basket tonight in the first half where he turned the ball over for a dunk where it looked like it was going to be just a simple layup to the basket line drive, and he turned the ball over for a dunk. So that athleticism that he possesses is much needed for the Sixers coming off the bench. Now, whether he eventually starts at some point playing next to Tyrese Maxey this season, looking at him with that size next to both he and Jared McCain, if we're looking forward for the next campaign, I thought it was also a nice move, Adam, to bring him in to add to this group looking to the future.
I think he for sure can start with Maxey. I mean, he plays defense. He's got athleticism. To me, I mean, who is it right now in that spot? It is
Oubre, Maxey, and the question is Yabusele. So with him, he's been coming off the bench these last 2 games against Milwaukee and tonight. I don't know if that's more for Nick Nurse, a situational opportunity that he wants to go in with Yabusele starting at the 4 next to Embiid and George in the front court. Oubre with a bigger body, as we were talking about, Grimes next to Maxey in the backcourt. So I hear you, but it's just a matter of, do they want to go with Yabusele as a player coming off the bench or Yabusele starting next to Maxey? And you both have seen him, Tim. I know you called the game with Yabusele. So they've used him out of position at the 5 a lot this season because of Embiid's absence and Andre Drummond's injury situation all this year. And so it's just he's been a revelation in seeing what he can do at both positions, but we'd like to see him get that opportunity, get that run next to Embiid to really get an idea of what that could potentially look at.
By the way, it looks like he's starting coming out of the half right here.
Mm-hmm.
So he's on the court, and a nice little steal right there, man. Got big.
So Justin Edwards was also the rookie, the Philadelphia native. He's been getting the start there. So I wonder if it was in place of Justin Edwards to start things off.
Gotcha.
What's the over-under on Maxey's second half? Because he just doesn't have games. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we both
totally shut down.
We all know that he can explode for that 25 in the second half because he can do that in bunches. So I would say the over-under right now would be somewhere around 17.5.
Let's pull it up. I'm going to have James pull it up. He's going to hop on FanDuel right now and see the live line.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of be fun. I might place a little bet here. I might get in on that.
Take the over. I'll take the over on that in a close game. He's going to get 18 or more if that's the number. I like that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I haven't seen it, haven't looked it up, but if that is the number right now, I would definitely agree with that one.
What do you make of the Sixers? Like some of these recent performances, I thought they looked incredibly listless on Sunday.
Yeah,
in the Milwaukee game, the Hubie Brown game.
Yeah, and following that,
and they had everybody. The Bucks were shorthanded, and they had no resistance defensively at all.
Yeah, it was the same thing against Detroit on Friday. No Cade Cunningham on Friday, no Giannis on Sunday in Hubie Brown's farewell game, and the listlessness was there for both games. And you would think too, Tim, coming off of the performance where they got down so big and they were down by as much as 35 points against the Pistons, that wouldn't be the case on national TV against, again, a Giannis-less team with Milwaukee. Sure, Dame Lillard, all-star, and we know that those guys have been playing with one another for quite some time, but Kyle Kuzma is new there. He's still trying to find his way with the team. And it was interesting to see them once again that they came out there, it seemed listless, no effort, playing against that Milwaukee team. And they had to fight in that one again to make it a game. Eventually, the score turned out to be what it was for their third consecutive loss. So it's been a problem. It really has been a problem with them. And even tonight, they got down, I believe, 14-2 to start this one off against a Toronto team that they are 4.5 games up in the standings. And no RJ Barrett tonight. Brandon Ingram, the acquisition at the trade deadline, he's out tonight as well. So I just don't get it, Tim. I don't know what it is that has them starting off so poorly against these players, especially when you saw that 4-game winning streak. And even when they lost the 2 games against Denver, Adam, against Boston, where they had to fight those 2 teams to beat the Sixers without Embiid, without George out there on the floor. Those are some real battles, and they were getting after it. And then for the Sixers to turn around and have the performances that you just talked about on Sunday and I mentioned on Friday, it's just been a microcosm of what their season has been all year long, and one which is why they're sitting at 20-32, partly because of Embiid is not being there, but also because of these types of performances, the effort that we see in some of these games.
That play you just saw Embiid take, though, he had what was probably an 80% layup and tried to turn it into an and one and ended up blowing it. And it's the plays that kill me the most, man. I just don't get it. Like, he had his guy beat, he had a lane to the basket, and he kind of veers into his defender to try to grab the contact and then end up missing the bunny in the putback. Just drives me nuts.
Look, for me, and you heard it out of his own mouth, talking about he might need another surgery. I think that kind of was something that was a little bit surprising for everybody to listen to, because I thought in the Milwaukee game, basically along this line, he was basically a perimeter player the entire game.
Yeah,
he became a 7-foot off guard, and that on nights like that, that's when I know he's not feeling mobile, he's not feeling explosive, he's not feeling quick, and this might be something. And right there, even just sort of jogging back, he's got multiple gears, right? Multiple speeds to play with, and when he looks listless, man, it's just so glaring.
Yeah, and you can see it where the other players, you see that they see it too, right? And you're playing off of him, trying to get him back into the play when they're fast paced, trying to get up and down the floor. And you're waiting on him, they're playing 4-on-5, and you're just trying to figure out what to do because you're also trying to run the set, whatever the action is, where he's supposed to be involved and he's not there. And that's the problem. But I did want to ask you guys this, as you mentioned that, Tim, about Sunday and what Lisa Salters had reported about his knee and what he said. The problem with that was the post-trade deadline press conference where Daryl Morey said they feel good about their chances making a push in the playoffs with him being as healthy as possible, not mentioning a surgery at all. And that's where a lot of the disconnect has been all season long with the messaging from the team. Sure, you don't always come out and say everything, but the president of basketball ops saying one thing about the trades that they made, and then the player. However, Lisa Salters, who's a great reporter, of course, a local product here as well, saying what she said, the credibility is there for her, where she's not going to go on air and say anything that she wasn't told by Joel Embiid or someone in his camp about that. So that's where the problem is. The messaging has just been so poor this season from the team.
Well, let's be clear. The Sixers are going to have, to this point, gotten a little bit of pass from the local media because they've been all about the Eagles, but that's over now. Now, after the parade on Friday, after the parade on Friday, everybody can start focusing in on the Sixers again because they've had a free pass. Those years when the Eagles make deep runs, the Sixers, nobody's paying attention to them until after that's all over with. So, kudos, by the way. I know you're probably a Birds fan, and everybody in the city, all my friends are Eagles fans. I'm a Commanders fan, so that was painful for me. But
you're my guy, man. But it had to happen that way. It was early.
I know.
You guys got there ahead of
schedule. No, listen, I'm good, man. We're gonna have a lot of big games with number 5. I'm very, 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 very confident in our future. But that was as dominant a game as I can recall, like in a big game. For all the marbles, that was about as bad as it gets in terms of being lopsided.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch it, especially after watching them play in Super Bowl 57, where they really played them guys to the whistle. The final whistle. It wound up coming down to a pass interference call on James Bradbury, and Kansas City won 38-35, and for the Eagles to play the way that they did, putting the 55, no disrespect, him up in the conference championship game, and then 40 right there, Adam on the Kansas City Chiefs was something, man. So kudos to the Commanders, because Jaden Daniels is going to have a lot of Philadelphia fans worried and scared on game days, but yeah, the Eagles did their thing, man. It was a really, really fun watch on Sunday.
Man, Karl Anthony Towns is having a little moment right here. I don't know if you guys saw the poster on Thomas Bryant.
Duncan, and that pass right there,
pass
man.
Was
like
nice.
He put a little extra flair on that thing from the time he picked the ball up in the backwards, a little fake wraparound, and then the no-look bounce pass.
He's got one of those like awkward smooth games. Like it doesn't always look that fluid or stuff, but he's good, man. I've come full circle on Cat. He was a player I didn't used to love. I kind of love him now.
Well, I mean, look, him playing the primary now as the 5 in the New York situation versus being what he was in Minnesota. Just getting a chance to see how it works, and working with the 2-man game with Jalen and the surrounding players there that they have a fantastic starting 5. So
nice finish.
It's cool to see him play the way that he is now. Because I agree with you, man. Where sometimes, you're like, I don't know with Karl. He's an all-star. We know that, all-star level player, all NBA level player. But sometimes he would just drive you crazy, especially those foul situations in the playoffs where he would get 4 fouls in the first half and take himself out of the game, where he couldn't be as aggressive as he would need to be. It's good to see him play this way.
By the way, another guy I love here is Mogbo. I know he just got the foul, gave up the N1, but he's a young player I'm really interested in. He's got another one of those games that's kind of unconventional. Like he can do a little passing, he can do a little bit of different stuff. And I like weird, quirky players.
Yeah, he's a nice player.
I want to see Philly kind of put it together here, man. That was a rough start to the quarter. Look like they got their footing now.
Yeah, they keep having these starts, man, where they put themselves in a hole and have to climb themselves out of it.
I mean, they're easily the biggest interesting wild card in the entire league, because the talent at the top of their roster dictates that they should be in the mix with the top 4. And so they haven't had these guys at all for any extended period of time play together. So I think everybody's it's just one of those teams, because of the talent of those 3 players.
Yeah.
You're thinking like at any time, man, maybe they could run off 6-7 in a row, and they're obviously going to be playing from a serious hole wherever they end up when the season ends. You're going to be playing on the road for 3 rounds, but it won't matter. Like if they're that good and healthy at the time and hot, they could be a problem, but they haven't come close to convincing me that's going to be the case.
No. And this is just the 13th game for a lot of people who may not pay attention as much to the Sixers. Of course, we've seen that they've been a disappointment, but just the 13th game that the 3 stars have played together, just game number 13.
Do you know what their record is in those 13?
And through the 10, it was 7-3. So I think it's now 7-5 since they lost
Okay.
the last two games. So 7-5. Tonight's game 13. So 7-5.
We got a super chat here from Jay Money. He says, or he or she says, no, officially claiming Jonathan Mogbo as my guy. Not sure what his ceiling is, but love the way he plays. He can kind of attack the glass like Manimal Kenneth Reed used to. The thing I love about this, every comp everyone comes up with is actually a hair comp. You know what? Like what do they have in common? Same hair. That's really what it is.
Yeah. We were talking about that recently when we were making some comps, whether it's the left-handed player has to be comped with the left-handed player or something like that. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah. But I love him. I love Mogbo, man. He's interesting. I look at Grimes in transition too.
Yeah, like
I'm a lover is what it is, Legs. You know this, man. I just like all the guys. I'm see Obaji out there, you know.
That's why you generally are like that, but that's why sometimes you'll go in on a guy for no reason. Then I know it's absolutely personal. It's personal. Like I know there's a backstory when on those rare days when you go in on a guy. I'm like, there has to be a backstory to this because it's very strange. Adam is dug in on this guy, can't stand the guy. And it's very, very rare that happens. I think for the most part, I'm a positive guy too, but I definitely call guys out a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, listen, I'm the same way. I'm a positive guy for the most part, and then there are just some. There's some that they get under your skin. I'm not going to say any names, Jackson Hayes or Christian Wood. I'm not saying any names though. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah.
Christian Wood is hilarious.
I saw that he just got waived too.
Yeah.
Based on that Alex Len.
Len, yeah. What a weird situation being out there Saturday too. The other thing that was very strange about that game was watching Dalton connect.
Yeah.
JJ had told us before the game he wasn't going to play. He wasn't going to be in uniform because he got back at like midnight the night before. Didn't feel like it was fair to him to thrust him into this situation. I don't think he's going to play their next game either and just get him into the break. He said he's got to get his head right. I don't blame him, but I was watching him a lot during timeouts and just body language, and I didn't see him smile once. And he looked almost like during the huddles, he was kind of standing off by himself a little bit, like not interacting with the guys on the team. So there's no telling what he's going through. That's a very bizarre situation because he's got a lot of talent, a lot of promise. And he's had nights where he's been just electric. He's a very popular player for the Lakers, but I don't know where this now leaves him. And even the addition of Luka, just like in the minutes on the perimeter that are now going to be eaten up by another guy that plays.
Legs freeze on us.
Yeah, I saw a video earlier today too, Adam, that he was standing, somebody focused on him. He was standing in the huddle standing around the bench, of course, during the timeout. And he wasn't talking to them. They weren't talking to him. And this was just a clip. So it's just one clip of a 48-minute game and a 2.5 hour game where a lot is happening. But yeah, you could tell that he has to get it, as Legs is saying, that JJ Redick was talking to him. He has to get his head right. I mean, the guy, it's tough, you know?
I can't imagine it, man. I can't imagine having to come back after they traded you like that. That'd be tough.
Yeah. I mean, and look, even with what they're doing right now, you could see where he could potentially fit in that bench unit when Luka sits down. He knows how to play with LeBron out there already and some of the others. But to have to come back and knowing that you were traded and you get in your own head as to why would they get rid of me, that kind of thing. And I can only imagine.
And Devon, I know you have other stuff to get to, so you can hop on. I don't want to keep you longer than what you know. If you need to hop on, obviously just hop off. There, Legs, you're back.
Yeah, look. So while we're here, this is all new to us, but like that's the sixth time I'm not touching anything, and 6 different times my camera and mic have gone off on their own. So I don't know what's going on.
I think your Wi-Fi. Yeah, I think it was Wi-Fi or something. I think you.
I'm in a hotel in Dallas, so it could be.
Well, Devon, are you like? I know it's weird to say optimistic, and I know you're just kind of taking it, game at a time or whatever. But how do you think this winds up for Philly this year?
I think because of what we all kind of know what other teams do when they know that they're out of it, they don't have a chance to make it. They just they rest guys, right? If you will, towards the end of the season. That a team like Toronto tonight, while the players and the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow, the second night of a back-to-back for the Sixers, while they may not get the memo from the team because they're all trying to keep themselves in the league, we know what organizations try to position themselves for when it comes to the draft. And with this being one that's really top-heavy and also having some talent there on the back end in the lottery and on the back end in general, the 76ers, unless they shut Embiid down, you look at it and you say there's no way that they don't sneak into the top 7, 8, 9, 10 there.
Right.
And with that, do some of the other teams just naturally fall back where you're in the mix when Orlando at some point you think they start to make that push up again? But what about Chicago and Atlanta, even though they traded for some other guys and moving DeAndre Hunter out, losing Jalen Johnson for the season with that injury? I think they get in as far as a play-in team, but it's hard for me to sit here and lie to anyone and say I know what to expect when they get in there.
Yeah.
We have not seen enough of them together. We have not, again, this is only game 13, and this is game 53 of the season. And we've only seen Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George start 13 of those. And 2 of those games, Joel Embiid was thrown out of one and injured in another. So he didn't finish 2 of those games. So it's impossible to say what they would be once they got in. But Tim is right. If they get in and they are healthy enough, because of what the talent is, you would think that, hey, they could be scary, but we don't have enough of a sample size and don't have enough of a body of work to say that they can actually get in there and do anything, except for get eliminated and get knocked out if they make it as an 8 seed and get knocked off by the Cavs in 5 or 6 games because they just don't have enough chemistry, camaraderie out there and understanding of how to play with one another. So they're going to really have to close out the second half of the season strong. It's good that the All-Star break is here now because it's unfortunate that Maxey didn't make the All-Star team. The record, of course, is a big piece of that, but they need the rest right now. They need to figure it out with this week off and figure out what the direction is going forward with Embiid on the floor or with Embiid off the floor. They need to figure it out.
That was a terrible gamble by your boy.
I know. Well, you didn't have to frame it that way. Like, it was a terrible gamble. That was a terrible gamble by Quentin Grimes. I didn't do anything.
If we're going to claim guys, then we got to own guys. I mean, that's a terrible decision right there. That's a terrible place to try to come from behind and get a strip, man. And Grady Dick takes advantage on the baseline cut.
Yeah, that wasn't a good play.
What's Grady Dick's comp for hair then? I don't, what do we got there? The blonde floppy look. Who's that?
Yeah, that's a good one, man. We gotta
go back to the 60s, I think.
Yeah, you got to go to. That's a Tom Chambers type floppy hair dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, got to think about that one.
This is a must-win for the Sixers. I'm going to put it out there. It's a must.
Oh, this one and tomorrow night, Legs. Tonight against Toronto and Brooklyn. Tomorrow in Brooklyn. These are must-wins.
Hey, I'm coming in there. I'm doing a Philly game, man. I'm excited. I'm doing a ESPN game at the end of the month. Golden State's coming in on March 1st.
Okay, if I'm in the arena, I'll make sure I come find you.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, so I'll be excited. It'd be nice to get back there on the day before. I'll probably see some of my boys. My daughter's there, so it'll be kind of cool. And then I haven't called a TV game in Philly before, so that I'm excited about that.
God, that'd be dope. That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool.
Man, can't lose to the Raptors tonight, man.
I know this is going to be a good fourth.
Yeah, but see, this has been the case. We say this every night pregame on our show again at the PHLY Sixers. This is a winnable game for whatever opponent is in front of them. And while the Sixers are not the Sixers that we have known for the past 8 seasons, you are still supposed to be better than the Toronto Raptors, especially when you have your 3 core players, a decent enough amount of your role players, and they are shorthanded. They are without Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett. Quickly and Barnes are very good. We know Grady Dick is a talented player too, but you're supposed to beat this team.
Yeah.
And
Vaselli, he didn't go up strong.
Big time rebound and a soft take, man. That was a great board.
Yeah.
Horrible putback attempt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a killer. That's a killer, man. You got to close this quarter strong.
This is who they've been all season.
You got to close it strong.
This is who they've been all season. And again, you just talked about the over/under for Tyrese Maxey, and
Yeah.
they're junking it up a little bit early in the game with their defense and how they've been going. But for him to have 2 points, only 4 shots, in 28 minutes,
and I can say right now for the last 2 minutes that, like with Embiid off the court, it's embarrassing how easy Toronto is just running this pick slide action. There's nothing in the paint whatsoever. Orlando Robinson looks like an all-star.
Exactly. This has been who they. This is what we've seen all season, and I keep saying it. And I hope the people watching know be like, all right, Devon keeps saying the same thing, but I'm telling you, folks, this is exactly how it's been all season long.
I know, man.
Not the best stretch for Quentin Grimes either, right there. I'm glad you didn't say anything, Legs. He followed up that rough play with a bad shot, bad defensive play.
By the way, James, if you next time you could leave that frisbee dog act on for a minute. I want to see what that dog had going on there real quick during that timeout. You know me, man. I'm a big dog act guy. I wanted to see what they were bringing to the table.
Yeah, we got to get people up for the dog commentary. Look at the score on this one, by the way, man. You were saying, Devon, they got to catch Chicago. Chicago might be catchable based on this
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, what are they doing? They have like 6 point guards. They extend Lonzo Ball, and I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know if they know what they're doing. The Lonzo extension was crazy, and that's one of my favorite players. But I just don't understand it. At first, remember they said it was like 1 week they were saying, Chicago might buy out Lonzo Ball. And then next week it was they're extending him.
We were talking about him as a potential buyout candidate.
Yeah.
Because of what you just said here. Yeah, we were just talking about him. And then the trade deadline happens and we see the extension and you just cross him off. So, I don't know. I mean, again, Lonzo Ball, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu on the roster. Javon Carter is still there as well. What are they doing with all these point guards? What are they doing?
Also, I'm pretty certain the Golden State was very interested in acquiring Vucevic.
Yeah.
I would like to know, to what extent they explored that. They ended up obviously signing Jimmy Butler. They went in a different direction. And,
sure,
I got mixed emotions on that. I'm going to get a look at him tomorrow night. But, I mean, he's so far so good. Returns have been pretty good. Like, Jimmy's going to have some juice. He's got some stuff to prove right now. I think he's definitely coming in there motivated because he's been taking a lot of hits with his actions in Miami. But I know they wanted to stretch big. Specifically to help Steph and open up the lane a little bit more for some of the action they like to run with his off the ball stuff. Everybody's just playing off their centers, whether it's Looney or Draymond or Trace Jackson Davis. That 5 is staying back in the lane. So they were trying to target Vucevic, but nothing happened.
Do you see this shot? Maxey just pulled up a logo 3, a semi-transition, like trying to get himself going. I guess it's 2 for 1. I guess that was the thought, although it's that 2 for 1 where there's only 1 second difference. So is it really a 2 for 1?
Sometimes you take a bad 2 for 1 and ends up in a none for 1 because neither one of them are quality. Because then you get it back and there's like 6 seconds left, like there is here. So this will probably also end in a bad look. So that's a gray area, man. I know coaches give guys a lot of freedom with that stuff. And on a night when he's struggling, I think if I'm Nick Nurse, I'm okay with that because you never know what could trigger Maxey to go on a run.
Right? And he's been successful with those this season, so it's not uncommon for him to do that. But yeah, I hear you, especially with things, so close. So yeah. All right, fellas, I'm going to go finish my notes for the fourth quarter so we can get ready for the post game.
All right. You got it.
This was a blast. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Devon.
Legs, if I'm at the game in Golden State, I'll make sure I come find you, man.
Good deal, man.
All right. Take care, guys.
Take care, brother. You guys can catch him on the PHLY Sixers post-game show up on YouTube. They do a great job over there. Trying to make chicken soup out of chicken shit this season, unfortunately. It only
this has the feel, to be honest with you, even though we talk about the talent, this has the feel of like an elimination in the play-in. Right, just you know what I mean? Like for one night, trying to slap it together. It just first of all, I find it hard to believe they're gonna now go the rest of the year and guys aren't gonna miss time again. It just has the feel of one of those years for them. That I just don't know, man. Is it going to come together where they really find a flow and rhythm that's going to make you think that they could play their way out of the play-in, get into a first round series with one of those top 2 teams. Oh, Ron Holland. All right. He's got to add that, man. That's a big next step for him.
Oh, man. I hate being afraid of Big Stew there. Beef stew. You got to just get to the cup on that one. Turn that into a layup. Oh, nice little move.
Wow.
Cade.
Okay.
Nice little move, Cade.
Man.
He's smooth.
He's a smooth game, man. Because you know why he's smooth? Because he doesn't have a burst of speed. I mean, he plays at a very controlled speed because that's what he has athletically, and it works for him because he's got great size and strength.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas, we got this simulcasting over on YouTube, on our YouTube channel right now, and we actually got some people putting in some super chats over there. So I wanted to
wow.
Yeah, to shout them out here.
Okay, real quick, just tell people, man, we're gonna be over here on playback, so we appreciate you tuning in over on YouTube. But you should head to playback.tv/allNBA show. You can watch the game with us. But yeah, let's do some super chats. What do you got, James?
And we got that link is pinned right there in the chat. If you guys see it, just jump on over with us. We got Smooth Slide. Says my wife is obsessed with Kyrie, so you can imagine her excitement for the All-Star game, and even more excited about AD's injury. Go what? Mavs? Question marks.
And who understands what that means?
Well, I think she's excited because the injury let Kyrie play in the All-Star game, I think is what he's saying.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right.
And then we have another one from I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher their name. Matisovic gave us $10 and just said for the best basket show. So props to us. Props to him.
The best basket show. I love that.
Just the basket show. Yeah.
Not even best basketball, best basket. We appreciate it.
So if you're watching over on YouTube, come on over. Come join us on playback. The link is tagged at the top of the chat. So hope to see you over here.
We got a couple things going on right now. We got this one looks like it's headed for just some late game drama. And then you got another one that now it's at this point, I'm curious to see how bad Detroit's going to beat them. You get a 34 in the second quarter. Like that's when you start going, man, could they win this game by 60? Like that's where my mind goes right away.
I got to get some FanDuel live odds. That's the only way you save a game like that is you just got to be like, all right, they're saying it's 30. Okay, I take over under 30 at that point. All right, Philly, let's do this, Philly.
Here we go.
By the way, I like Jared Butler. I'm kind of curious. Yep. He's had those knee issues. I know he's a guy that you always worry about. Anything can happen with him, but I think he's a winning player.
I really liked him in college a lot, man.
Joel's energy to start this quarter looks a little bit better, a little more purposeful. We'll see what he does. But Paul George, another one, man. I know we have to start thinking of him differently, but there's a lot of old players that still just have a little bit more. I just don't understand the tempo with which he plays at. Let's see.
This has been probably the most frustrating part of the Joel Embiid era for me is when he, in a game like this, where physically there's nothing they would be able to do with him on the block.
Yeah.
And he just falls in love with standing around the perimeter
for
multiple possessions in a row. And I know he's got a great shooting touch. It's part of his game, but too many possessions. There. Yeah. Where he's just coming down and right there runs to the corner or now jogging back, maybe he just doesn't feel right, but you're out there. So play to your strengths. Let's see what he does on this trip.
He says, come my way. All right.
He wants the ball, it looks like, but then he didn't really fight for it. He's going to end up with this ball at the top of the key, probably after this ball screen.
Two-man game, and then not even a roll.
All right, that's getting into your wheelhouse right there for Paul George.
All right, they take a lead here. Let's see it. What do we got here, James? Where did we just go? Is this our live lines? I don't know if James realizes he just changed the channel. Maybe he does. Now we're looking at us. We're still learning this platform. We're trying to figure it out.
Well, that's an interesting alarm for James, just so he knows. Like his computer could pop up on anything. So
Oh man,
I'm just saying.
you could have had an awkward moment there.
Be careful, James. Yeah.
Guys, come on. I'm learning on the fly too. Give me a break.
I'm just glad, just
What's
glad
going
that's
on?
what it was. That's funny. While they shoot this free throw, we had a super chat come in from Pickett Propaganda, which, by the way, I got to talk about Jalen Pickett here in a second. But he says, if AG, meaning Aaron Gordon, is iffy for the playoffs, what do our other guys do better or worse, or how big is a drop off for what Peyton Watson or Zeke Naji can do for him? Also, will Malone ramp up the young guys for the playoffs, or will they sit again? First part of that is there's no replacement for AG. So there's nobody I don't think Denver could alter their style of play that doesn't involve Aaron Gordon. I'd be pretty surprised. They need athleticism. They're not an athletic team, and they need strength. I don't think you can play that tiny. To me, Aaron Gordon is an essential piece. Let's see here. Good recovery by Embiid, by the way. He jumped on the wrong side, didn't read it, but made up the ground on it.
He had a bad turnover in the last possession. He did go into the post. He turned and faced, and I was like, this is when I love him. When he turns, faces, can see the whole floor, but he ended up getting the ball deflected off of his leg for the turnover, but recovered for a nice block there on the other end.
Yeah. Another part of the question was for you. It says, Legs, any Nuggets games coming up? Need you on some more? And how does the league choose who is on TV? How do you view the Nuggets, and do they need to beat these West teams coming up? So they have a tough schedule is what they're referring to after the All-Star break. They got a lot of Western Conference.
Can you please, I would like more information on that. Break that schedule down for me. Can you pull that up? Who they got coming up?
Yeah.
After the break.
I'll pull it up for you here in a second.
But I can tell you kind of where my short term is. You got Oklahoma City and everybody else. We know that. Oklahoma City is the best team in the league, I believe. That doesn't necessarily mean, hey, they're going to be unbeatable in the playoffs. They're still a young team that doesn't have a lot of collective postseason success. So who knows? That's a different world. But they've been the best team in the league, in my opinion, in the regular season. So who can grab that next piece of real estate in the West? I mean, why couldn't it be Denver? Yeah. When you look at some of the, flaws of Memphis and Houston, and two teams that I really like, by the way, but there's nothing to me that separates them from a team like Denver. At the end of the day, Denver's got the best player. Yeah. So, Denver in a playoff series with those teams, I think Denver would be good shape. So I think if you can avoid the 4-5 and not have to play Oklahoma City in the second round, I think Denver, to me, could be a threat to get to the conference finals.
Man, that's a tough one. I want to see this charge here because it's kind of a big turnover. Let's see if he was. By the way, Jared Butler had a couple nice play. Had that nice offensive rebound and then nice smooth take to the basket there. Let's see. Oh, he's outside. He's well outside.
Yep,
good rotation.
Yep. Good call. Good job.
Good defensive play. Man, I'm invested in this game now.
This is great because it's given me a reason to watch this game when I otherwise probably would not have. That's the truth. I probably would have watched the condensed version tomorrow.
Right. What a horrible hedge on that one. Just so late. I like Shed too. He's
another guy I loved in college, man.
Yeah, just a dog, man. Tough. They had him, to start the year. I called Toronto my favorite bad team, and him and Davion Mitchell, like trying to bring the ball up the court against those two guys, a nightmare. Oh, that might be off him,
man.
I think that's off of him.
I like Scotty Barnes a lot too. There are some limitations there, man, offensively.
Yeah. Not a star, he's not a star.
No, so the only thing you got to do, if you got a Scotty Barnes and he's got that skill set, then you just got to go find a superstar to go alongside of him.
but I think he'd be good,
And then he
like
got
that.
something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, good hand on it. Oh, man. Guard-to-guard screen late in the shot clock. You can't screw that up. Good defense for 20 seconds. You screw up the guard-to-guard action, and it's a wide-open
Yeah.
three.
It's an automatic switch. I mean, there's nothing to even communicate on that.
Yeah.
It's automatic.
Nice aggressive move. There you go, Joel.
How easy it is. It's so
easy.
easy.
There you go,
And then
Joel.
he makes the play and gets the whistle, and then he immediately just kind of grumpily goes over to the bench. It's like his body language, man. It's just different than a lot of great players in this league that would have some bounce after a play like this. It's like walks over, head down. He's just like he can't wait to go sit down. It's just crazy.
So to get back to the super chat, the Nuggets are on a 7-game win streak. They have Portland on Wednesday. They just smoked Portland by 30 last night. I think they get that one, and then they open up the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, they have Charlotte at home. So you think that's 2 wins that gets you to 9, and then here's their schedule legs: Lakers at Pacers, at Bucks, at Detroit, at Boston, Kings, Suns, Thunder, Timberwolves, Lakers. All of those games are tough. Every single one.
Man. That takes you what you just said. That takes you to probably mid-March.
No, it wasn't mid-March. It was actually you're right. Mid-March. That is mid-March. It's March 19th. I mean, that's like 12 games or something like that. 13 games in a row.
That's a hell of a stretch, man. So listen, I guess the good news is you're going to know all you need to know about the Denver Nuggets by the time that's over.
That's exactly what I said too, because they're on this nice run against bad teams. They're taking care of business, but in Denver, I mean, every year they kind of turn it on after the All-Star break. It's like
Let me ask you a question. That's 12 games, you said? Is that what you said?
Let me count it out because I keep estimating it. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 games.
11 games. So would you be happy with 7-4?
Oh yeah, 7-4. Okay. I think with that.
How about 6-5?
It's crazy. I might call 6-5 par in that stretch just because that's an East game road trip. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 straight games in the East. You also have 2 away games at Oklahoma City. So
I guess really what it comes down to, actually more than even with the overall raw numbers would be as far as the record in those games, would be how they do against Oklahoma City. Isn't that really what we're talking about?
Yeah, that one will be important. That'll be it.
That's really the best barometer.
Well, they did the thing where it's our favorite thing, Legs. They play them on Sunday and then they play them again on Monday. So it's a back-to-back for both teams in the same location. Like such an important matchup, right? Denver versus Oklahoma City. When you wrote the schedule, you knew that would be a marquee matchup. And they made it a back-to-back in the same city, say like 2 nights in a row. I just don't get it. One of those games becomes less.
They're doing it all the time now, man. It's so common.
Yeah. Jay Money says, welcome to Raptors games, fellas. Most competitive tanking team. We've been doing this all season. It is true, actually. Trust me, I've been watching them. They were one of my favorite teams early on when you're really getting into everybody. I actually liked the way they played.
Well, it certainly wasn't the team that I just saw last night in Utah. It's impossible to even know what they're in a tough spot, man, because they clearly they've identified a rebuild, but they still have John Collins. They've got Sexton, who didn't play last night. They've got Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
They signed Lauri Markkanen. And so you got these other guys that are talented that you're paying with a bunch of young guys, and you're not trying to win. That's a really weird combination on a daily basis. That's really tough for the head coach to navigate all of that.
Nice. Look at this. Look at this.
So easy, Adam. It's so easy.
He was saving it.
Man. That's a good little run. Nice little delivery. Why is Scotty Barnes out of the game? Is he in foul trouble or is he just getting a rest?
5.5.
That's a weird time to get a rest. So that's why I'm wondering.
No, he's only got 3. He's only got 3.
Grady.
Oh, big time shot. He had no window on that too. That was a good closeout.
No, it's a good action on that to get him. You run the ball screen, collapse the lane, and then you get him kind of rolling up from the corner to the wing.
I don't know how you get lost in transition there. And that's what a horrible travel.
He traveled. That's
tough. Yeah, look at this easy move. Just right around him. Don't try to get the foul. Just go right to the cup. You got it. You got 60 pounds on him.
Where is he? There's Embiid. Come on, man.
He's out on the wing, man.
Are they in a zone?
No.
Yeah, they are.
You just want. Oh yeah,
but they were not lined up properly at first, Adam. You're right. Yeah. It didn't look like it because the one defender was running with the guy. The other four guys were in his zone. He got away with it. Oh, terrible decision.
In the clutch. Man, we got a bunch of power chats or super chats coming in. We'll get to these here as soon as this game wraps up. We'll be able to get to some, but I want to kind of lock in on this one.
Scott, he's having a hell of a night, 31. Damn.
Oh, man.
You just can't buy one of those nights. What's Maxey from the floor? 0 for 6.
Only 6 shots, too.
Does not have a field goal in the game.
So he has 6 shots. One of them was that deep 3, and the other one was that 1 2 for 1 he tried earlier.
5 of them are threes. He's got 1 shot that wasn't a 3.
That's crazy.
Man, he's too good for a night like this. This is weird, like, because I'm looking at, Maxey in the last.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, really, I was going to say the last 5 games, basically in the month of February, he's averaging 33 points a game. But then the end of January was 43, 30, and 42.
Yeah, that's that heater he was on.
So this has been going on for a while, and then you just get shut out against a weak team. That's really crazy.
No, Joel.
I knew he was going to shoot.
No,
that.
Joel. You knew it the whole time.
I knew he was going to shoot that.
Yeah, and you knew he was going to miss too. It's like you could see the whole thing happening.
It's like catnip. You dangle it out in front. They can't resist it. Oh, look at this. The same action.
And that was such a weak high trap. It was so easy for him to get the ball out of that and to create the advantage. Like just like a half trap, half-ass trap. Oof, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough sequence right there. The obvious force 3 and then the soft trap to give the 4-on-3. Man, that was tough. Let's get some super chats in here while we wait on this break. Baller Shot Caller says, hey, guys, I have a question. Do you guys think the Mavs just turned into the Wolves from last season? We have 2 second options running the show, and I feel like our offense went downhill. Well, I mean, you lost Luka. The offense is going to, Here's the thing with the Mavs, man. I loved their game when AD made his debut, and I was ready to be open-minded about what it was going to be, at least for that season. Still thought the trade was dumb, but I was open-minded about what they were building. But everything that's happened since the first half of that game just feels like we know how the season's going to go. I don't know how you feel, Legs, but Gafford down, 80 down, Lively still out.
Here's my thinking on it, man. The Dallas Mavericks could win a championship this year. It wouldn't come close to justifying what they just did. That's how I feel about it, because it's the short-sighted, short-minded approach that a team could possibly have. And they said it, 3 to 4 years. That's what they considered present and future, 3 to 4 years. So the problem is, because the problem I have is if they do win one, you'll never know if you could have won one with Luka. And he is a guy that is really unique. There's one of him. And you had him in-house. You had him in uniform. You could have kept him. Probably his whole career. And so you made this decision. So I don't even know that one championship now for most Mavericks fans would even offset the pain they're feeling over losing a player that talented, that entertaining, that that gave you that much hope for what the future is going to hold.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So yeah, listen, I don't know what exactly the Mavs season is going to end up being once these guys all get back and see how long AD's out and everything else. They're obviously going to be playing from digging themselves out of a hole that might not be able to overcome. It doesn't even matter to me. It's not just about that. Let's just go to championship this year or next year. It's not about that. It's about what the next 10 to 12 years of your franchise look like. They just did something that you just don't do. You don't give up that kind of talent in just entering the prime of their career when he's already had success. It's not like Luka's been in the league for 6-7 years and they're 500 every year and they don't make the playoffs, so they get bounced in the first round. He's been to the conference finals and the finals as their best player. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really irresponsible of the organization what they just did, no matter what the short-term results are for the Mavericks.
Well, I agree with you. I was surprised at how many people in the comments of our show on that episode, disagreed. There were a lot of people obviously a lot of people agree with you as well, but there was a lot of people that were saying, hey man, if they win it, all's forgiving. And I just thought, so at least some people feel that way.
I like this comment by Ray. Ray just said, Dirk being in LA should tell you all you need to know. And I completely agree with him.
Yeah. He was almost like he was sending a message or something.
Dirk, of course he was. He's got a statue outside of the arena in Dallas.
It says loyalty on it. Right.
He flew out there and here's the other thing that's cool about Dirk, by the way, goes to the game with Luka's dad. Now, damn well they could have probably sat in Rob Pelinka's box if they wanted to. They're sitting like 5 rows back, man, just in the middle of the row with a bunch of just random fans, man. Yeah. I was watching Dirk get his ear talked off before the game by some fan, and he's such a nice dude, man. He's one of the most nice, humble guys ever. But I just thought that was kind of funny too, man. They're just sitting there, here we go, man. Let's see if Philadelphia's got to get this win. If they want to be taken seriously at all.
Out on an island, get over. Paul George, get over. Man,
wow.
Tough shot. That's a tough shot.
Look, man, he can make that shot consistently. That's a whole nother element to his game. That was right over Embiid, too. They were palm on palm.
Good attack. Oh my, what happened?
He went up so weak.
But it was almost like he stumbled or something. I mean,
yeah, he got himself. He was too far into the rim, and when he went to reach out from under the rim, he just was in an awkward spot. Look at this. Oh, missed it.
All right, here you go. You still got a chance. Oh my,
you got plenty of time. They
got a guy right at the rim. See the court.
Oh my goodness. Look at him.
Does anybody want the ball? All right, Paul George.
That's a big shot.
That was a huge shot because that was a bad process right there. It bailed out. Going to try to get Joel. No, switch back out on ball. Man. If there was one play I would legislate out of the game, it would be that one. Like I get it.
Took the words out of my mouth. I was literally about to say the same thing.
You turn the corner on a pick and roll, stop abruptly and jump sideways or jump backwards. I'm like, does anybody like that? Is that an impressive thing? But he got it.
I'm guessing you feel the same way about guards dribbling up the floor in transition and basically changing lanes in front of a big guy running, and they just to get run over to get the call.
The Chris Paul special? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Beeline it right into a big guy's legs. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, they won't call a charge in the backcourt, right? Thank God. But players have tried it, and we just kind of understand it doesn't matter what the rule book says. That's dumb. I feel like we could do that for some of these other things.
Yeah, Austin Reeves pulled one of those right in front of me against Indiana on Saturday.
A charge in the backcourt?
No, he basically right crossing half.
Yeah,
court changed lanes right in front of the big guy. He couldn't change direction, ran him over.
Yeah, straight to
Maxey.
jail. Oh, there it is. Hey, right on time, legs.
It's
right
nervy.
On time.
It's nervy to still feel it. When you've had this kind of night, that's a big shot, man.
Yeah. This has turned out to be a good game, legs. Oh, where you at, Joel? What, man?
See how slow he was to react to that?
So slow.
Man. He had to see that coming like 2 seconds before it happened. He just never moved.
All right.
She's gonna. There you go. Take it. Gobble up the space. I don't mind that shot.
Oh,
I don't mind that shot though, because that's a 15-footer. That's almost automatic for him.
yeah.
But he didn't get any lift. He didn't get any lift on that. That ball never had a chance. It was so flat.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Some interesting late game decisions here both ways. Who wants the ball here? Oh. Hey, they're going to retain that. I think that's correct.
You keep it, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's correct. I like Maxey going to the cup there, though. I didn't mind that. Danger zone right here for Philly.
Yeah, you know the problem. That's a decent shot for Paul George. The problem I have with that is that's like the intended shot. They ran that screen-to-screener action, and that's like almost like that's the one they're hunting.
Yeah.
Down 2 with 45 seconds to go.
Maxey got to step up. Nice. Oh my. Oh,
Embiid.
That's all right. All right. So you got 19. You got 20 seconds here to put something together. Down
go.
2. Ooh.
You know what? I'm going to predict something right now. Historically, this has been one of the biggest question marks for Joel Embiid. These exact situations right here.
No timeout.
And trusting him to make a good decision.
Oh man! All right, big time shot. Oh, he's not going to take it. Oh my!
I just said it.
Oh my! Oh no!
You know what the thing is? Here's what's crazy. He takes that 3 and misses. He gets crucified.
Yeah, you could tell it went through his head too.
But okay, then just go in there a little bit more patiently. Like be smarter about what you're doing. What are you going between your legs for? Like that. I mean, there's no need. There's no need to go between your legs, right there. Man. That's the trust factor. I've seen it his entire career. Those exact situations. And he's listening. This guy's an MVP.
Yeah.
And one of the most dominant offensive forces in the league. But I've seen it time and time again. They have problems when they want to make him the primary option in these situations. One possession game inside 30 seconds.
All right. Well, you get a timeout down 3. It goes 1 for 2. So you're going to have an opportunity here. And they have another one after this. So, you have a few outs here, but you're going to have to get something tough. Where do you go here, Legs? What are you drawing up in this timeout?
I absolutely draw the primary action coming toward the ball for Maxey because he's going to get the most attention because he's the most consistent shooter. But knowing that it would be the back end of that to Paul George probably getting the look. And also I would not sleep on Kelly Oubre. I've seen the Sixers run action in this situation where they know Oubre is going to get left.
Right.
Because unless he's taking the ball to bounce. And he's capable. But to me, clearly, you run something, hopefully trying to free up Maxey, but not expecting that to happen. And then you're ready for the reaction off of that, where maybe Embiid then sets a second screen for Paul George as the secondary action. Because, I mean, if I'm Toronto, I've got to be face guarding and switching everything on Maxey.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a little overtime. We got time on our clock. You know what? I wouldn't mind this taking us down to the end of our 2 hours here. Give us something here, Maxey. What's he got? 1 field goal, right? Is that what we were saying? So he's 1 of 9.
Got one. You won for what is he 1 for 9? You said
1 for 9. So I wouldn't.
That was a big one though.
It was a big one. This one would be bigger. Look at here we go with that backcourt again. Your favorite. Oh my. Oh man.
It's a bad loss, man. And it's just,
man.
I feel bad for Maxey because it wasn't his night and he ends up with the ball in that situation.
Also, just like such a tough play. I mean, they threaded the needle on that pass anyway, just to get it to him. You know it? Like that was, think about how many things could have gone wrong on that play, even just with the setup. And it left you with half a second to kind of pump fake and go.
Well, that's now 6 out of 7 losses for the Sixers.
Man,
did we
some
good teams in there? Denver, Boston, Detroit's a good team. Milwaukee. So I mean, they're not terrible losses. Miami, they lost by 7, and then this one. They got one more game before the break, man. They got to go to Brooklyn tomorrow night.
Okay. We got some super chats to hit here that came in through in that game. Ted says, official assistant manager at the Booty Bar on Pickett Island. You're not going to understand anything that was said there, but I got to tell you, Legs, of all the like quirky guys I've ever thrown out and said, I kind of like this guy. It's my guy. Plays a weird style. Jalen Pickett on Denver, who I doubt you have seen, although he went to Penn State, so maybe you'd be familiar with him. The guy's the quirkiest player in the NBA. I love his game. High IQ, 6 foot tall. He plays almost like Jokic. He plays like a point center, but he's 6 feet tall.
Did you claim him?
I mean, I claimed him when the Nuggets drafted him, and I did my scout on it. Because I don't really watch college, so I didn't know much about him before then, but I love high IQ players. I love passers. He's just super high IQ. His problem is he's slower than I am. And he's about 6 feet tall, but real quirky game, man.
That does sound like a problem for the NBA.
If your point guard can't beat anybody off the dribble, it's rough.
I mean, if you are picking him up full court and turning him 6 times before half court, yeah, that doesn't sound like it's going to translate.
I got another one here from Austin Allen. He says, what are y'all's thoughts on the Rockets lately? Rough patch or slowly falling apart? Also, the Clippers, for lack of media attention, have held strong in the top 6. Wonder if the Wolves will take them out soon. So the first part of this on the Rockets, they had some guys out. Fred VanVleet, he's a big part of it. But I think also, man, they're a good team, but it's hard to be great for 82 games. I don't know if they're quite ready to be a 2 seed.
Totally agree. I'm not kind of like in panic mode over the praise we've been giving them. They deserve the way they've been talked about. Prior to this, they had not lost more than 2 games in a row all year, and they had only done that 2 times. So to Adam's point, it's a long year. You're going to hit a stretch like this. 5 out of the 6 were on the road. This was their rough patch, man. It's almost like reverse to last year when they went on their run late. This is like a bad time to have this sort of stretch right now, but plenty of time also to right the ship. I'm not too worried about them. See if they can finish strong. They got 2 games before the break, both at home, Phoenix and Golden State. Those would be 2 good wins, and that would get you feeling a lot better about yourself going into the break.
Yeah. Janine here, she says, as an avid Magic fan, this season has been tough with all the injuries. I believe we have 2 all-star level players in P5 and Franz Boogie Wagner. We know the roster needs upgrades. If each of you could add 1 player to our roster, who would that be and why? Thanks for all you guys do. Love your content. So I like it. I like the question. Mavs, if you could add 1 person to their roster, who would you add?
That's always such a tough one because that's just like, you're opening up to the whole league. I mean, there's.
Yeah, it's like an archetype of player. We can keep it semi-serious, but like archetype of player you think they need. It's got to be, to me, a guard with some scoring.
Has to be a guard that can score and shoot the basketball. That's really, because I've Suggs has come a long way.
Love him.
And we love. I mean, it's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, but his offense is really taking a major step forward. So he's coming along. But if you just look overall, at their 3-point numbers, their 3-point threats, the guys that can get into their own shot on the wing that are guards, not the 2 big forwards, a guard that can do that. It's very hit or miss from night to night who you're going to get that from. So that would be where the upgrade would come for me too. TJ McConnell, man, right on cue. As soon as we put it on, he goes and scores.
Trying to think of who is shooting like a scoring point. Like, you like Benedict Mathurin. He kind of fits. If you were trying to think of like reasonable people you can add, is that a place you could see him going?
He's not a good enough shooter.
Yeah, you're right.
He's a good player. I like him. He just is not tightened up his absolute, pure shooting stroke enough. So I know I wouldn't probably put him in that category.
What a follow, by the way, from Harvard. Anthony Simons. What about that? Anthony Simons.
Not bad. Not bad. Cause I think he could play off guard with Suggs. He's a good one. He's very talented, man. And Mather could do that, man. He's got a big body. He likes that spin move. Peyton Pritchard, somebody said. Good player, too small. I want a bigger guard.
Let's see here. Anthony Simons might be the guy. Not my favorite player, honestly, but on that roster, it might actually work out.
I'm curious for the Magic fans because this is where the topic came up with what Dallas did and not opening up the rest of the league and targeting some other younger stars than Anthony Davis, who's in his 30s. Like, you know, there's a handful of guys that would be in that category. Some are untouchable. You're not getting Wemby. You know, you're not going to get Jokic. You're not going to get Giannis. Not going to get Shea. So what about that next group? I think Banchero was kind of in that category for me to at least justify to your fans, like, this is the guy we're going to build around for the next 10 years, like whatever.
Yeah.
Would Orlando Magic fans have traded Paolo Banchero, and it would have taken a lot more than just him? Obviously, you would have had to give up a couple other probably rotational players and a pick. Would you have done that for Luka Donćić?
What was it?
Banchero. I mean, I don't know specifically.
To me, of course.
Without pulling up like these guys' salaries to know what he would make
of course.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, just
all right.
logically.
What about Banchero and Suggs?
To me, absolutely. I love Suggs. Banchero, I'm lower on than most people, but I mean, Luka Donćic is one guy, one salary, and half of a team.
Yeah, you've always hated.
You're halfway there.
You've always hated Banchero. It's odd to me.
See, said it. Said I'm too soft. It's pillow talk. I'm too critical. Like.
you got to get it just right.
I got to thread the needle with you, Lang.
You got to really thread that needle, man, in your commentary. Yeah, that's good. That's what I was saying all along. I mean, I think that next group of guys I was talking about were Banchero would be at least, yeah, let's start there. I mean, the guy's got a really bright future. He's going to be an all-star many times in this league. Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, like, I don't know. Does Boston even consider that? Does Minnesota consider that? I just think, maybe like for Orlando, my point was all along, like, look, Orlando's a really good team. Adam and I both like the team. They liked him last year. I like him still.
Yeah.
Luka Donćic puts you on the map, man. It puts you on the map. Like you're now getting a bunch of national games, like, and you have this guy that's so transcendent to build around going forward because he makes everybody better too. But the fact that they didn't even try with any of these teams is the part that's the part internally in the league. That's the part that people are most shocked about. For the average fan, they just can't believe you'd ever give up a guy like that, period. But guys in the league that I've talked to, that's the part that is just like, how do you not dangle him around the league just to see what you could get?
I know it doesn't make any sense. And then I think as Pelinka like worked his magic on him, told him, hey man, we got to keep this under wraps. We can't let anybody find out about this.
Yeah. Because then the agent gets involved and now they start forcing their way to a certain team or like whatever. Okay. I get it, but that's just not the way it's done, man. In the dark of night, everybody in Dallas wakes up to hear that news. That's crazy, man. It's like what was the NFL football team that moved in the middle of the night? Right, Baltimore, right?
Was it Baltimore, Cleveland, Baltimore? Yeah,
Baltimore. Yeah, they just in the middle of the night, just like people.
Or no, Baltimore, the Baltimore Colts. Was it Baltimore Colts?
Yeah, it was Baltimore Colts.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, Indianapolis. Yeah,
and they just woke up in the middle of the night. There's no team there anymore. Like that's kind of what it felt like for Dallas fans. Like,
yeah,
because that happened late in the night,
right?
And like a lot of people did not find that out till the next morning.
Stony Baloney, I think we have another one here. Stony Baloney says, which do you think is the better basketball quote? Number one, a player's rebounding ability is directly related to how close they live to the nearest railroad tracks, Pete Carroll. Or number two, the best competition a player has is against themselves to become better, John Wooden. And then he says, love the podcast / watch along. Keep them coming. So which one did you like there? The first quote or the second quote?
I like the second one. I mean, I think that is for me. It's just kind of like a mantra for life. That's everything.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about, man. Those are the kind of values
you're
trying to instill in your children. Those are the kind of things that I as a player chased. Always just challenging myself and I feel like I did max out every single ounce of my ability. That's really what it's all about. And then you're on to the next challenge. Do the same thing there. Challenge yourself to get better and better and better, no matter what it is, no matter what walk of life, man. So I like that second one. It's a good one.
If you guys are watching this stream right now on YouTube, head over to playback.tv/all-NBA show. It's free to sign up. You can get a 7-day trial for League Pass as well, so you can watch the game along with us. I know if you're on YouTube right now, you're just looking at our beautiful faces, but if you go hop over to Playback, you can watch the game while we provide commentary. And there's a chat and everything else over there. Really cool interactive. We got another question here from SSJ. He says, "Hi guys, I'm a huge fan of your work. I'm a huge Cavs fan, and I wanted to get your thoughts on how good you think we are. Can we win the East, win the title? P.S. I'm a senior at Keene University who majors in communications and journalism. I'm the color analyst for my school's games. Would love an opportunity to talk basketball with you." Well, I like that, man. Like Blake said, man, keep grinding. This industry here is an enormous grind.
Wait, did he say King's College?
Keene, I believe. Let me
Oh,
go
Keene.
back here. Yeah, Keene. Kean.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Kings. Because Kings I know up in Wilkes-Barre, PA. I know that area well. So that's what I thought you said.
How good are the Cavs? Me personally, we loved the DeAndre Hunter trade. We think they're a complete roster. I think they're a complete roster. I'm super curious. I'm super into them. To me right now, if you told me, I would say flip a coin between Boston and Cleveland and don't sleep on New York. And I don't know if I'm taking anybody else seriously just yet.
I mean, that's well said. I think that's about as concise as you can say it. Coin toss between the Cavs and Boston. The Knicks are absolutely a challenge to both of those teams.
Yeah.
Cleveland's had a cleaner season. They've been better. They've been the best team in the Eastern Conference. The consistency with which they've played, the depth, the completeness of their games. But I just do believe there is something else there that Boston will be able to draw on in terms of desperation as we get closer to the playoffs. They haven't felt desperate all year. They got fed last year, this yearning that those two star forwards had. They got fed. It's just not the same the next year. And I think that's what you've seen a lot of this regular season. I think their best is coming, and that'll narrow the gap with how good Cleveland's been. And at that point, since Boston's going to be going on the road to play them eventually in the conference finals, most likely, then yeah, man, that's a toss-up series.
I think we're bringing on a new guest here momentarily. Let's see here. This one's going to be a good finish too. I mean, I want to see Indiana get back into. That's our guy, Big Dave, over from the CHGO Bulls post-game show podcast, which means we got to click it over here so he can watch his game. We have a nice one going on here, but we gotta.
No, that was 34-point game when we turned it off. I don't know what.
Don't do this. Don't do it to yourselves. All right, I'm the one who has to suffer over here. Don't do it to yourselves.
You know what, Dave? This is a pretty good game we got over here. Pacers Knicks. We might let you talk about the Bulls while we watch the Knicks.
Well, I will say this, Tim. It's always great to see you, man. I respect you and love you very much. Adam, you're not my friend right now because you sent Arturas Karnisovas over here to run our team, and I don't like what's happening and going on, bro. I thought we were cool, but obviously we are not.
Well, listen, if you like round numbers, it's 90-50 in that game right now.
That's easy for me to do the math. That's a 40-point game. I got it.
You can look at me and tell I like round things, sir. So yes, absolutely, I'm down with a round number. I'm with it. But dude, no, they are getting stomped. I mean, stomped out. It was 71-29 at the half. The Bulls were shooting 4% from the three-point line. It is an atrocity of what's going on. I don't know what they're doing. I'm very confused. I was wielding a bat during the trade deadline. Like there's shards on the table in front of us because I was slamming the bat, very angry and upset about what's going on. Man. But dude, yeah, this team it's ridiculous. And now I got to come on here and you guys are talking about two teams that I despise in the Pacers and the Knicks because I'm a Bulls fan. So and they're good, and both of those teams are really good at the same time. So yeah, man, have a good day.
When you shoot a percentage from the 3-point line, that's not even like the cost of living increase in this country, dude. You got a problem, man. You got a problem. That's all I'm going to say. You can't even find a 4% tip on the little card reader at the deli. I mean, we got problems up here.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
man.
An issue, Tim.
Hey, Nice little corner three in transition from my guy right there.
There
I
you
don't know
go.
if you saw best mustache in the game, Ben Shepherd.
Oh, Ben Shepherd.
Best
Doing his
mustache
thing.
in the game.
Oh man, this is cool. This is my first time talking to y'all on y'all platform, man. And I've been wanting to get on here. So thank y'all for having me on, man. This is awesome. I got a surprise for you later, Tim. I got a surprise for you later, bro. In a few minutes, I got a surprise for you. I promise.
For me?
You. Yes, just for you.
Okay.
Just for you.
Okay.
Adam will like it too, though. Adam will like it too. I promise.
All right.
But yeah, so how y'all feeling about your teams? Let me ask you about Denver. How you guys feel? You guys didn't make any moves. You know what I mean? At the deadline. Are you all comfortable? You comfortable going forward, Adam?
Comfortable, no, man. But I mean, it's never comfortable at this stage. You know, it's win or nothing. So I like Denver. I don't love them. I think they're a guy short. But you know, when you got Yoke, it's not. You've always got a chance. Like they've got pieces. I just think you need 8 guys, and I think they have 7. So, but they're on a run right now. And here's what I always tell people, man: when you cover a team, you know this. You know all the little ticks and rhythms and different things about them. Denver every year after the All-Star break to me is when they focus, and that's who they are. And I was just talking to Legs. They have 12 games coming out of the All-Star break. First one's Charlotte. The next 11 are really tough. I just think at the end of that stretch, we'll know. I'll be able to tell you with a lot of confidence whether I think the Nuggets have a chance or not.
Man, it's cool to hear you speak about a team that's good or serviceable. So I just like hearing those things because I truly don't know. I truly don't know what the Chicago Bulls are doing. They're very confusing. The last time I talked to Tim Legler and we had a conversation, he was saying the Bulls have to lay out their 8 cell phones on the table. They have to, just give away anything. Everything is half off, free shipping. Like everybody is for sale. And I was like, yes, you're right. That's the way they should be doing it. And then they said, yeah, we're going to send out Zach LaVine, but then take back 3 more players and not trade any of them. And just keep all of them right here on our squad. And they're not great players. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them, but they're not the great players like that. Like, Trey Jones is a solid point guard. He's cool. Kevin Huerter probably having the worst shooting career of his career. Yeah. And I mean, Zach Collins is playing his first game. He didn't get in the game last game. This is his first game that he's playing. It's a complete struggle. They don't know what they're doing. They're pushing and pulling at the same time. I'm just completely confused, man, and flabbergasted, and whatever other verb or adjective you want to throw in there, man. I'm spent about this team. I don't know what's going on.
Update, real-time alert, 101:56.
Hey, man, we're getting...
I got my eye on the ticker over here. I'm just going to keep giving updates.
We can flip it over, Legs. If you want to flip it over, Legs, we can flip it over.
Don't do it to yourselves. No, do not do this to you. I care about people.
It was 40 when I gave you the round numbers. I'm thinking like, okay, they're going to empty the bench soon, and now it's going to 45.
Listen, I care about people. Do not turn this on and subject yourself to this foolishness that we're going to have to do. But please tune in to our post-game show when we talk about this because we always have a great time talking about it. Myself and Matt Peck, I got a feeling a bunch of hats are going to be thrown on this set.
The good news is they went on a heater. They're up to 11% from the
3. Strong out here, baby. Hey, I do want to ask you guys, what do you feel about our actual thing that is keeping us alive, and that's Modest Buzelis? What do you guys feel about Modest?
Yeah, we touched on him early. I'm a fan, man. You're right. That's the thing that's giving you some hope. He's got it, man. He's got toughness. He's got game. He's got athleticism. I'm assuming he must be very popular in Chicago. I know it's been a rough year, but
kid.
I'm a big fan, man. I like his upside a lot.
Yeah. How about you, Adam?
I like him too. I was trying to figure out who I think he's going to become, right? Like I'm not exactly sure what the mold is, but he's off his feet so quick. Like it's not just that he jumps high, he jumps light. And so so I'm intrigued by him. Who really likes him is D-Line, our mutual guy. That's like his favorite. That's his favorite guy out of this draft.
Fan.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
He's always in the Slack wanting to talk about him, man.
Really?
Yeah, always. He wants to discuss him, man. Well, here comes.
Can we revisit what did Pascal Siakam just do? Did you see that?
Walk me through it.
He got to walk.
Josh Hart fell on the other end of the floor. Siakam picked the ball up. He's coming out of court, and there was 2 guys next to him, like near half court, and he just jumped in the air and shot. Watch.
Let's see. Here we go. Oh, say I'm getting fouled. I'm just going to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But they don't
and
call the foul.
He just airballs it out of bounds and they don't call anything.
Yeah.
You better be sure you're going to take a shot like that.
You better be sure. You got to have it.
You got
What's
a
up,
10-point game, man.
101-58.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
Tim
we got
Legler is
that.
over here making fun of all of it right now. So it's awesome to have, an actual NBA player telling us that we're
Wait, 101-58? Officially a 2-0 run, though.
A 2-0 run. We're on a 2-0 run, man.
This is your gift right here, Tim Legler.
They had an 11-2 run. Come on now.
Brought in my man, the legend, Will Perdue.
You know you're in trouble when you see the halftime spread and it says for the second half, the spread is 33.5.
Damn, if I took the Bulls in 44, I would have lost.
He'd be sweating it out right now, man.
Oh, my God. I had to apologize to Will Perdue for the performance that was going on the screen because I'm like, dude, you got out here and you bled for this. You sweated for this. Like, you went through it, to make sure this team is good, and then you have to subject yourself to actually sitting there and watching that on the screen. I mean, he is lucky because he gets to sit next to us and do this, but still, in fact, he's got to sit there and watch this and talk about this at the end, man. Thank you, Will.
Yeah, that's the big thing. What are we going to say?
It'll be a lot of prayer.
It's hey, it's funny. It's look, you guys aren't in the same boat as the Sixers, when they tanked for those years. But I remember when Ala Abdel-Nabi got the color commentator job for the Sixers, and that was like I was in Philly a lot then, and so I'd always listen to the local broadcast, and they were winning 10, 11, 12 games, Yeah. It's just like that is a grind, man. When you're going for 82 and what the stakes are, what the organization is trying to do. You're trying to sound positive and it's hard, man. Like this one tonight, I don't even know what you could say. If you're calling that game for the Bulls, what do you do, man?
What do you do, dog? Like I'll tell you what you do. You sit there and you talk about the times when we were actually good. Which I'm like bringing over Will Perdue. Will, what do you remember about Tim Legler? I've asked him what he remembers about you. And when you played, what do you remember about Tim Legler when you were playing?
So this was actually on the scouting report for Tim Legler.
Okay.
All right. If he gets hot, foul him. Break his rhythm.
Just foul.
That's it. That's the defense with Tim. Just foul him.
Well, I mean, listen, the one thing he did a really good job was that I specifically remember so you remember Johnny Bach was our defensive guy, right?
Yeah.
And Johnny used to talk about how Johnny would compliment guys all the time, like this guy's limited, but he does an outstanding job of setting you up for his shot. He doesn't, it's like, because Johnny Bach used to love guys, instead of just standing in the corner and then coming off a screen, you would start to sell at baseline, get the defense to bite, and then stop on a dime and then come back out around the corner and then basically catch coming off the screen, and the big then can't get out fast enough, right? Because back then, if the big is setting the screen, we step back to let our guy go through so he can get there quick enough. Because if you trail, a lot of people like to trail, so it depended on the individual. But with Tim's shot, we didn't like to trail because his shot was too quick.
I loved any defender to trail me. I hated the guys that went over the top and shot the gap, and then I couldn't get the pass. I used to drive me insane. I hated
that was
guys.
The thing. He was like a lot. Some guys you like to trail and stick to the hip, right? The one thing they talked about, because Tim could catch, and he did such an excellent job of setting up the defender, but doing all his work before he caught the ball. That as soon as he caught it, he was just boop. Some guys got to catch, left foot in the bucket, step with the right foot and square, and it allows the defense to catch up. And he's also one of those guys that just, timeout, Lakers hit three shots in a row. Phil would go, okay. He'd ask the assistant coaches, who's got what fouls? All right, put that guy in, and next thing you know, just jump to block the shot and make sure you go through his body.
Hey, man, listen. Will's talking about an era, by the way, in the Eastern Conference during the 90s when, there were teams that you basically, to drive to the rim, it was going to be a felonious assault was going to be committed. Dudes had like crowbars in their sock they'd pull out. It was an alley fight, man. So what he's talking about, it was like that's not far-fetched at all.
That's crazy, yo.
I mean, you guys get knocked to the ground now. They're running to the monitor to check for flagrant. Back then, guy got knocked to the ground. They just wanted to make sure he wasn't bleeding.
That's it.
I will never forget getting hit by Oakley in a game and broke my nose. And you're laying there and blood's coming out, and you're like, I'm thinking if they take you out of the game, I'm not getting my 2 free throws. So I'm like, that ain't happening. So I remember shooting those with these giant cotton balls sticking out the end of my nose. I wasn't considering coming out of that game. These are the easiest 2 points I'm going to get tonight. I am not coming out of this game.
I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't mad. Listen, we got to go because we definitely got to go finish this game, and we got to talk post game. Tim, I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow. We'll have a discussion, sir.
I
the
will.
Legend Will Purdue
great
will be with us.
Will, man.
Hey, Tim, let me ask Tim a question though.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
And you when you start something off with the word no disrespect, it's kind of comes as long as
you know what's coming.
But unfortunately for Tim, he played on some bad teams.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You talk about Abu Dhabi having to do the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
How about you on a Wizards team that I'm not questioning your effort. Just
no, we weren't bad in Washington. I thought you were going to. We actually, those teams were always like average, and then we made the playoffs the one year played you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So those teams were always like in the middle of the pack. I know that the bad teams I played on were the teams I played on in Dallas before I got to Washington. Those were the bad teams.
Man, I'm just curious. I was very fortunate. I played on a 20-win team with San Antonio, but we were decimated with injuries. But what was your we're talking about the Bulls now. They've gone past the trading deadline. And we did a pregame. I'm like, you better keep an eye on Vooch, man, because a guy that was anticipated being traded, verbalized in an interview that he talked about, I would like to kind of have an opportunity to maybe be on a better team that actually compete for a championship.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're a guy that is playing on you're not really sure what the direction is of the team. You think you know what they should be doing, but yet they're still trying to win some games because, even Arturis mentioned play-in, playoffs. But, I mean, how do you get yourself going in that situation? Now, you got the All-Star game coming up, so then we always like, woohoo. But remember when we played the All-Star game, you were right at halfway,
and the whole thing lasted 3 days. Now they get a week off.
It's not so much people like, oh man, it's downhill. Because I always talked about that you get to this point of the year now and you're getting beat up and you play hard and you're still losing, but you're getting to that time of year where the mind knows exactly what needs to be done, but the body's like, ain't happening tonight, brother.
Body's like,
it's a really difficult place to be. The Utah's in this boat. I just saw them against the Lakers, and the same thing. They got some veteran guys that put up numbers, and so those guys want to get their numbers still. But it's been clear they're in full rebuild. So they're playing all these young guys. They're not expecting to win. Everything's about the future. So you got this weird dynamic of veteran players like John Collins and Jordan Clarkson, and Markkanen, who's not that old, but he's been around a while. He's their best player. Those guys still want to get their touches, their numbers, knowing that we're not really in a competitive environment trying to win tonight. And there's some guys in Chicago fall into the same boat. It's a very tough, long grind. Players, for me, when I was in Dallas, we were bad. All I thought about every night was putting blinders on and understanding every single time you step on the court, you're auditioning for the entire league. And that was always my mentality. But for the coaching staff, this is a very difficult thing to navigate, man. When you know it's not clear that every night you're trying to win at all costs. It's a very difficult thing.
All right. We got to go, man. Katie is kicking us out of here.
It's 11069 update 11069.
I thought we were cool, Tim Legler. I really did, but it's all right. It's all right. Adam, I still don't like you right now, but we'll talk after the season. After the season, Adam, you brought us AK. Come on, man.
All right.
I still love you. I just don't like you.
Yeah, I get it, man. I totally get it. Thanks,
all right, y'all. We'll catch up, man.
Sounds like a marriage.
Got it, man. Exactly.
Those are great guys, man. We have some great shows in the All City Network for people who don't know. CHGO Bulls. I mean, what can they do? How do you do a post-game show on a 50-point loss? You know, like, do you break down the game?
No, you do
analyze all the.
We do what you just did. You start telling stories, glory days.
Yeah.
This is what you do. And look, the Knicks pulling away here, man. It's got out of control quickly.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to end up having a photo finish on this one. So, but what do you think, Legs? I like this format. It's just very casual.
Format's very cool, man. We got to talk, especially when you get a close game like we did in Philly. You get to talk about the actual execution at the end of the game, which is some good insight, that we can give, and just the interaction with the chat and people raising, really good points, bouncing around the league. This is great. And, obviously some nights are going to have better games to lend themselves to others. This game looked like it was maybe headed for something good here down the stretch, but the Knicks put this away.
I think this format is just here to stay. Hopefully we can obviously participate in it and build some kind of, show out of it. I love bringing guests on, but I just think this is the way people like to consume sports now. It's communal. It's like, you feel a part of it. I think it's cool. We got one more here from Charles Moss. He says, love the podcast, guys. Listen to every episode. Question for you guys. How do the Bulls actually get to be relevant again? As a lifelong fan, this feels like the biggest low since the early 2000s. And unless Reinsdorf sells, we will never be great again. I think he answered his own question. And bad owners can luck up and get a great player. But I don't think that bad owners can find sustained success in the modern NBA with all the complications and moving parts. You can luck up and have a one-off, but to have sustained success to these days, man, I just don't know if a Bulls team.
And I can speak to you from experience, and it is a correlation with the football team that I love. Look at the ownership we had with Dan Snyder, right? And you're 100% right, because it never. You have to get out from under that cloud, and I think Chicago is probably feeling some of that. And look what happens. The year, 2 years after they sell the team, the Commanders go 14-5 and go to the NFC Championship game. That's how fast it can. Now, listen, obviously, getting that player, and it's the same thing in the NBA. But the problem is, when you're Chicago, you're not positioned to get that.
Yeah.
That franchise changer. I mean, typically those guys are going to come in the top 3 or 4 picks of the draft. And that's the problem right now. They're in what I would describe as NBA purgatory. Good enough to compete-ish, playoff and play-in type-ish team. Not bad enough to get in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. Not good enough to really make it interesting in the postseason. It's a tough place to be in this league, and there's always a group of about 8 teams probably in that category that I just described, and the Bulls, unfortunately, are there right now. It's not easy to clean up.
And this is why this year was so special for you, because you go through that for all those years. You get a new ownership group, and then almost immediately it's just, what is there but hope, when you get that moment? Just feels like a whole new life.
Completely. I mean, it takes, now, how different I feel. This, even though we had a really rough loss in the NFC Championship game, it doesn't matter. I know where we're headed. We're going to play in a lot of big games, I think, in the next decade with this quarterback if he stays healthy. And it's just your whole outlook of the franchise and the team that you love is totally different.
Yeah.
Once you get out from, like I said, it's a cloud. It's a cloud, and it brings down the morale of everyone, not just the people on the field and in the locker room, in the front office, the fan base, and that's kind of what we lived through. And now it's a completely different mentality when I talk to other Commanders fans that love the team, and how differently we're approaching the draft and then the summer and training camp. It's a totally different feel.
Well, this game is over here. Actually, you know what? Let's give it a little head. It's the NBA. You never know. But I think this one is just about over. 34 assists for the Knicks, by the way. Not bad.
Hey, guys, we do got one more question, or one more super chat over on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
From Marv Daddy. Says, Legs, I was mad at you in 8th grade for something you said about the Warriors. I went on to Yahoo Answers and asked, why is Tim Legler on TV? LOL. Fast forward, and now you're my favorite b-ball voice. Heart.
8th grade.
That's funny, man.
Somebody said 8th grade, man.
I wonder how many years ago that was. Did he say how old he is?
He was using Yahoo Answers, so it had to be a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's not the only one that felt that way. There's people that probably feel that way now. What am I doing on? What am doing talking about the game? What the hell do I know?
Disparaging
fine.
remarks about Baron Davis, Monte Ellis. Who was it? Who was it that back in that?
Oh,
era
oh
you must
well,
have
if
been
you're going to
saying?
go there, I definitely probably said some stuff about Monte Ellis. If that's about if that's the time period we're talking about, there's a good chance that happened.
I think that's about when that what it must have been. Steven Jackson. I'm trying to think of who else might have been there. All right, well, we can wrap up the stream here because it looks like this game is over. But we appreciate everybody that checked this out for us the first time, made the show a success. If you liked it, there's 2 things you can do that really make this work for us. First, go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the All NBA Show if you're not already. Share our content. Let us know when you see us tweeting stuff, sharing stuff on Instagram. Share that stuff because it helps us grow the show. We try to grow organically. We're doing this the real way. And also here on Playback, man, we'll be doing another one of these. Probably next week's the All-Star break, so it'll probably be 2 weeks. We'll do another one of these things, have even more guests on, and just do us a favor and make sure you set your alerts and keep your ear to the ground because we enjoyed this and we want to make this another part of our content. I think we can wrap it up. Legs, thanks so much, man. I hope you have a good night. Anything else you want to say before we get out?
No, I'm going to leave you all with this. I had a great time. This is cool. We'll definitely do this again. I'm going to leave you with this. It's 115-74. That's my update for the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, let's flip over. We got to catch the end of that one, man. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great night.